All right, you guys, I'm back with the final flip through and the Dream Keeper series that I'm being released this week. There will be 3 more that will be released hopefully by the end of next week called, it's the Dream Keeper series, and they can be found on the junkgypsy.com. And this one is Cosette. And there's 2 others I've actually done flip throughs for. You can check out the other videos. And I just want to start off by saying that they will have some of these textile cards that I made in these. They're not going to be in here right now because I'm working on editing a video on how to actually make them. But you can buy this printable. There's about 7 pages, if I'm not mistaken, of different ones. And you can buy it at thejunkgypsy.com. But I will include in each of the journals several of these cards. So let's get started. So Cosette is the only one that you can actually see the binding. The others have hidden spines. And it took me a really long time to figure it out. So this was the first one I did. And this is actually French and is the Dream Keeper. And I made all these silk ribbons so incredibly long. And the reason being is there's so much ephemera in here that you can use it to make other ephemera. And so I wanted to give you some fabric to actually use. Each one comes with a different brooch. And I keep saying it, but look at the bling. I am just so impressed by these little brooches. And you can obviously take it off and use it as a pin, but they were bought specifically for these journals, and each one is different. Each journal is different. So they also all have my logo, which is Happy Anderson, and those little charms, and each one has a little piece of bling, and each one is different. And then I got these adorable little tags. They say handmade with love, made with love, and I just love them. So let's talk about the cover for a second. There are vintage buttons. There's antique fabrics, vintage fabrics, new fabrics that I dyed. This is a piece of a wedding dress. Look at that button. I mean, stunning, stunning. So I just love some slow stitching. I just love how this collage came out. This one is my absolute favorite. Maybe not even of all 3, but of all the ones that I did in this series. Look how thick this is. So I use vintage file folders when I create the covers. So there is some flexibility to it. It's not like super hard, but it's a lot more rigid than today's file folders, and that's why I use them. I don't know if it's Schmied, Mead, one of them they're like these thick file folders, and the vintage ones are just so much thicker than the ones they make today. It's one of my favorite things to use for making file folders. So again, I am a sucker for an amazing first page, and this one is no exception. It is stunning. So let's get started. This is some handmade paper that I embossed. This is a vintage postcard. There are tons of printables from myself. I've said in each video I accidentally deleted my website. I've been working on it for several months trying to get it back up, but they're not the thousands of files that I did have at one time. So every day I'm trying to upload. I have a sick mother, so in between I'm just, I'm just a girl trying to survive over here. This is some vintage fabric, and I'm going to make fabric bundles, and this is one of the fabrics that will be in there. I have quite a lot of it. And this is vintage, but a lot of the printables are on the site or will be put on the site. But I also used, I want to say it was like Ruby and Pearl and like the old design shop. I have no problem buying and using other people's printables because we are all in this together. And if they make something beautiful, why not? We can support each other. So this is kind of fragile. It is really old, from 1903, authentic piece of ledger. And so I backed it with some washi and just have it. And this is an unused vintage card, and there are tons and tons of journaling space. I also try to remind everybody I love making beautiful things. I do. It brings me so much joy to open and see this. But more importantly, these are meant to be used. They are meant to inspire you. So that's why I create so many tucks, turns, places for you to actually journal. I mean, this is the Dream Keeper series. I want you to write down all your hopes, all your dreams, and come back and visit them and see where you're at in life. You know, it really, really helps. Journaling has brought so much joy in my life that I just want to share it. This is some, I think it was used for like plants or something, but I found it in a store several years ago, and I had a whole roll of it, and I'm literally getting down to the wire now. I also have started destashing and putting things in my shop. There were over 50 books listed. I'm not real sure at the time that you're watching this how many are left, but you can check it out at thejunkgypsy.com. I moved from around 4,000 square feet to a little 2-bedroom cottage, and I keep buying more things, and I realize I could never use all I have, and it's a shame for it to just sit there. So I started selling some of the things so the world can enjoy them as well as me. And I love seeing what you guys create, so make sure you tag me. It's at the original Junk Gypsy is what you can use to tag me, and you can also find me on social media by using that. The @ original Junk Gypsy. I also started a Patreon recently because I had several people asking me, and I tried to include bonus files on the Patreon. This is some vintage wallpaper and embossed paper. So if I make a kit, there's almost always going to be bonus pieces to go with the kit that will be on the Patreon and only on Patreon. But I also make kits that are exclusive just to Patreon. So I did have to stop working until when I started taking care of my mom. So I was just trying to get inventive, and you guys have been so, so supportive. There we go. That's vintage lace. I actually backed it because it was kind of, you know, it's lace. I backed it with some heavier paper. But I want to thank everybody who has told me that we're in your prayers. My mom had open heart surgery. I didn't know this, but and maybe you don't either. I always thought you had 4 bypasses. No, there's actually 5. There's actually more than that. It's basically every valve they do, but my mom had 5 and suffered a massive stroke after. And since then, she's actually had several more strokes. This is some avocado dyed paper, handwritten letter. But she's still alive, and we've been having several really good days. I actually did make a printable kit. It's called Love Not Gloria, and it's on my website, and I made it very affordable. This is just some embossed paper for you to use. I want to say it's less than $3. And I made it on Mother's Day while sitting with my mom in the hospital because my mom has gotten a lot of not only dementia, but, you know, memory problems because of her stroke. And she kept calling me Gloria, and I would say, I'm not Gloria. I'm happy. And she, so when I would ask her what my name was, she started saying, not Gloria. And then I soon realized that she actually thinks my name, not, is part of it, not Gloria. Because I was saying, like, I'm not Gloria. And I just found it so endearing to me. And so she still calls me not Gloria. And so I named the kit Love Not Gloria because it's reminded me of my mom. It's just real classy and beautiful. And I even made a journal. I haven't listed it yet. I will sell it. I just, you know, I'm just still admiring it a little while. I can make another one. It even has in the locket, it has pictures of my mom in it. So this is just a journal card with tuck spot and a little collaging. I love that. Some vintage magazine. A large tag. Oh, this one did have a card in it. I'm still going to put a couple more in it. And again, this is a printable that you can get on my website. This, I found this really old paper. It's almost like, younger people may not understand this, but us old folks know what it is. We used to, you know, to make a copy, we'd have a carbon piece of paper, and in between it, they'd have this piece of paper. I think that, I could be wrong, but that's what it feels like to me. So when you print on it, it's stunning. And I only have about 10 sheets of it left. There's a tuck spot, I left it open. Some more vintage magazine. This is vintage wallpaper, and I just made a tag out of it. Some beautiful lace. These have some vintage playing cards and some stamps inside. And that's some vintage wallpaper and some embossed paper. And that's an authentic envelope. That's just a tag that I collaged. Some more ruffles. A French letter. I can't believe how small this guy could write. He wrote home to his parents who lived in New York. And this one's from 1960. That's some avocado dyed paper. A little collage work, but it's a tuck spot in the back. Beautiful, beautiful penmanship. More paper, embossed, handmade paper. Receipt and a tag that I made. Back of the letter. Another tag. Another playing card and some embossed paper. I'm telling you, there are tons of tuck spots and pockets and things like that for you to use because it's so pretty. I mean, you know, you gotta have places to actually tuck things in journaling. Like you can use the backs of these, that sort of thing, or you can turn these into other ephemera to use. There's some embossed paper in that beautiful green. That's a journal card, and it actually has a tuck spot as well. Some vintage wallpaper. This is some avocado dyed paper, another little dangle with some bling on it. It just makes me smile. Of course, it's got a tuck spot. That's that silk dress I cut up. This is another vintage playing card. I just used a digital stamp on this paper. Oh, I always put it in here. That's more vintage playing cards and a tag with some embossed paper. I must admit, I love this fabric. I have very little left. I'm saving it to make, I think I have enough to make 2 journals with it, and I will make them. It's like thick too, which I absolutely love. Didn't mean to shove that all the way down in there. All right, and then the back page. Another receipt, some beautiful handwriting. And I just added a little bit of ribbon. My favorite little printable. And that's some handmade paper that I embossed, some paper I made. Again, I will, I'm waiting on some folders to come in, and I will have some handmade paper available. Look at that handwriting. Oh, just scrumptious. And then last but not least, it's some more of that vintage fabric. There is a tuck spot that has this embossed large tag, and it, pretty sure that, maybe not. Maybe not. I thought that was a tuck spot, but I might have just put it on there. And it slides in. And that's it. Again, please, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you follow me at The Original Junk Gypsy. And we'll see you soon. Thanks, everyone.